The first Battle of Geonosis was one of the most important battles in galactic history, the beginning of the Clone Wars and the end of 1,000 years of peace. Most Star Wars fans are familiar with this important battle, but most of the time, it's the surface theaters that receive the most focus. But while the ground battle was certainly the most important part of the conflict, there was a space battle above Geonosis as well, and it played a bigger role in the course of the Clone Wars than you might think. In this video, we'll be explaining why.
Attention, Sergeant on deck!
Just prior to the outbreak of the Battle of Geonosis, the corporate factions that were about to form the Separatist Council grounded a significant portion of their fleets at landing sites around the Imga-Twi Hills, where they picked up vast shipments of battle droids from the Geonosian factories. On Geonosis, the members of the Separatist Council officially pooled their private forces to create the CIS droid army, and this grounded fleet was intended to spirit the vanguard of this new army to key mustering grounds all over the galaxy. During the battle itself, the Republic's main objective was to prevent the droid army from escaping Geonosis, and to do so, they threw everything at these landing zones. This involved not only a ground assault, but also a space battle, as the Republic's own fleet was tasked with shooting down any transports that escaped the planet. At the start of the battle, the Confederacy had 286 Hard-Cell-class transports, 41 Diamond-class cruisers, and 60 Lucrehulk-class core ships grounded on Geonosis. But it also had a number of other ships in orbit. Many of the core ships had detached from larger Lucrehulk-class battleships and left their ring sections in orbit, while a number of Lucrehulk-class battleships were stationed above Geonosis at full strength for planetary defense. With them were a selection of Lupus-class missile frigates and a few Separatist cruisers of unknown classification, which appear to have been Geonosian in origin. The Trade Federation battleships each carried 1,500 Vulture droids, while the Geonosians had thousands of their own Nantex-class territorial defense fighters, most of which were on standby at ground-based hangars. In addition, the Geonosians had a number of anti-orbital cannons stationed on the planet's surface for defense against capital ships, with 3 covering the Republic's intended assault vector. The Republic, meanwhile, came to Geonosis with a fleet of 20 Acclamator-class assault ships, including the Archon, the Majestic, the Prosecutor, and the Implacable. At the height of the battle, 12 of these ships landed on Geonosis, while the remaining 8 remained in orbit to participate in the naval battle. Stock Acclamator-class assault ships lacked Starfighter hangars, but some of those that fought at Geonosis were apparently modified to act as Starfighter carriers, as the Republic also deployed prototype V-19 Torrent Starfighters, LAAT gunships, and Delta 7 Starfighters. Most of the latter were piloted by Jedi Aces, most notably Adi Gallia. As you all know, the Battle of Geonosis began with Mace Windu's assault on the Geonosian arena, in which 212 Jedi participated and only about 24 survived. These Jedi all came to Geonosis in their own personal Delta 7 Starfighters, which allowed them to evade the Separatists' orbital blockade. However, the Jedi did start taking fire from the Geonosians' anti-orbital cannons, so before beginning the assault on the arena, Windu and Luminara Unduli set out to destroy the cannons first, clearing the Republic's intended assault vector and eliminating the Geonosians' primary defense against incoming capital ships. With the anti-orbital guns destroyed, most of the Jedi landed outside the arena and began the battle there. While the arena battle kept Separatist leadership distracted, the main Republic fleet made its move, jumping into orbit around Geonosis and beginning its descent. A few Jedi remained in their fighters to provide cover, most notably Adi Gallia, Siritachi, Ashrad Het, Bant Irin, and Anya Kuro. 8 of the assault ships deployed additional fighters and engaged the Separatist fleet, which was not prepared for the Republic assault. Thanks to the element of surprise, the Republic fleet was initially able to scatter the Separatist defense fleet and cut off all communications between them and the surface, allowing the rest of the assault ships to maintain the element of surprise. Led by the Archon, the 12 assault ships descended to Geonosis' surface, escorted by Gallia and the other Jedi. With the anti-orbital cannons destroyed, they faced minimal resistance. They passed through Geonosis' rings on their way to the surface, using the rings as cover from the Separatist fleet. The assault ships only faced resistance from a handful of Lupus-class frigates, and Separatist fighters. A mix of Vulture droids and Geonosian fighters that had been launched from the ground, which Adi Gallia and Siri Tachi easily eliminated. Once they were through the rings, the assault ships descended into the Geonosian atmosphere. On their way down, they bombarded the Geonosian hangars, destroying the vast majority of their starfighters before they could even launch. Only a handful of Nantex-class starfighters remained after this bombardment, giving the Republic air superiority for the ground battle and allowing the assault ships to land with minimal resistance. Once they landed, they deployed troops to begin the assaults on the grounded troop transports. Meanwhile, in orbit, Adi Gallia took command of Republic naval forces, and she and the other Jedi Aces rejoined the ongoing space battle. They and the Republic assault ships in orbit did enough damage to the Trade Federation's orbiting fleet that the bulk of Republic space forces were able to turn their attention to shooting down the fleeing troop transports, which began lifting off as soon as the Republic ground assault began. But this was complicated by the sudden arrival of new participants in the space battle. Just before the Battle of Geonosis, Adi Gallia had been working with Nim, the captain of the Lock Revenants, a pirate gang based in the Carthax system. She had allied with the pirates against the Trade Federation, which was illegally pillaging the system, oppressing its native populations, and using the system's resources to manufacture trihexylon, a highly illegal and exceptionally dangerous chemical weapon. During her campaign against Federation forces, Gallia also went up against Sabaoth Squadron, a mercenary fleet commanded by Captain Kavik Toth. Together, Gallia and Nim all but drove the Trade Federation out of the system before Gallia was recalled to Geonosis. She left trusting the Lock Revenants to mop up Sabaoth Squadron and what was left of the Trade Federation presence, but during the Battle of Geonosis, she received a message from Nim. Sabaoth Squadron had abandoned the fight and was en route to Geonosis with bombers loaded with trihexylon. Kavik Toth, as it turned out, was in league with Count Dooku, and the Count had summoned him to Geonosis to level the battlefield with trihexylon bombs, which he hoped would kill Yoda and the other Jedi leading the Republic forces there. His forces arrived in orbit above Geonosis in stages, beginning with the trihexylon deployment forces, consisting of 12 Hex bombers and 8 Hex deployers, the latter being larger missile frigates packed with trihexylon. Adi Gallia and a squadron of Jedi Starfighters was able to destroy these craft before they could begin their assault, but the vanguard of Sabaoth Squadron soon followed. A pair of Sabaoth destroyers packed with Starfighter squadrons. The Jedi were outmatched, but help was on the way. Nim himself arrived to join the fight, taking to the skies in his personal bomber, together with 3 wingmen and a pair of Mare cruisers, led from the flagship Tritus. With the help of the Lock Revenants, the Jedi were able to take out one of the Sabaoth destroyers, only for another to join the fight. Kavik Toth's flagship, the Reaver. The battle was fierce, but ultimately, both Sabaoth destroyers were eliminated. Kavik Toth fled the doomed Reaver aboard his personal starfighter, but he was shot down by Adi Gallia, ending the threat of Sabaoth Squadron. Unfortunately, Sabaoth Squadron had distracted the Jedi enough to allow the bulk of the Separatist troop transports to escape Geonosis. A little over half of the Hardcell-class transports stationed on Geonosis escaped, 169 out of 286, while the Separatists only lost 5 Diamond-class cruisers and 14 core ships. The rest escaped with their payloads of battle droids, and they and the remainder of the Separatist fleet fled Geonosis, leaving the Republic victorious, if unsuccessful, in their primary objective. So that's the little-known story of the space battle over Geonosis. But what do you think? Have you played Star Wars Jedi Starfighter, the game most of this comes from? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below, and as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.